I am going to give you a final take on American democracy. I did title this article about No Kings Complete. And I want to be very, very specific about this issue of no kings. So, man, I've decided I'm gonna, by the way, welcome to my blog, to give you a complete take on what exactly went on with this so-called No Kings movement in my case. I did mention 2003 royals. This shit is so criminal, the No Kings, and I'm trying to stay away out of the politics as much as I possibly can, but as much as I would like to stay out of the politics, they threw curses on me, you know, like in everything. This is what the point about MK Ultra is. The only thing they do is they video record themselves what they refer to as proofs, and it's all lies, it's all garbage, it's a torment, it's a torture. Either way you look, it's a waste of time. And America was really, really, really good with lies, therefore with a waste of time. It started when I was less than 1 year old in so-called Yugoslavia, Greater Serbian Chetnik state, and it went right through what became known as independent Slovenia. But as you know, Americans were involved in this case when I was less than 1 year of age. French, Germans, Chinese, India, governments around the world adopted me through Josip Broz Tito. And at my age, almost 54, in December, I'm going to be 54. I have this to say about the No Kings movement. There was a lot about No Kings movement. And there's a very thorough report on No Kings movement. There is other reports I have done, and I'm not going to tell everything about the No Kings because it was more, and at this point in time it would do harm, it would do damage, because it was Democrats also that were involved in it. I will explain the whole thing, but just partially. It foremost concerned the party members, the politicians I supported, the side I supported during MK Ultra, and I heavily supported British royals, Republicans, what they refer to as the conservatives. I was labeled as a neo-Nazi thanks to these conservatives, thanks to these royals. They simply would not stop this Slovenian, Yugo-Serbian, Russian madness. They simply would not stop one. And the reason why and how they did not stop one, you already know about on the blog. What they wanted to do is they wanted me dead at all the costs, because the last thing that Americans decided with the British, with Germans, with everyone involved in it from the West was for this case to ever come out. The payment, the final payment that you receive as an MK Ultra victim, if you're really political case, it's a 100% debt, because they ran away from you just as its devil runs from the cross. Now one come associate themselves in absolutely any way. And it became more evident for what I stated through No Kings movement, for the future No Kings movement, than through any other issue concerning my case, MK Ultra case. These were Yahoo front pages, and you can see Bill Clinton right there flashing. This one is already the ending procedure. This was on October the 20th. 2025. It's not only the news that the so-called journalists involved in brainwash with their political owners, politicians, It was numerous people that participated in this No Kings movement. And I mean numerous people who participated in this so-called No Kings movement, who blackmailed me, demanded from me by basically you're either gonna see yourself in it, or you're dead buried. You're buried alive, basically. So this is going to be my final take on the so-called No Kings movement. What do you want to call this? Democrats? But foremost, this is going to be a final take on Republicans and British royals overall, who financed, created this corruption known as No King movement. I could go out on a blog and vent in anger, but I realized that without thorough explanation, why am I so angry about this so-called No Kings movement, it would do me a damage. It would not do me any good. And that's exactly what United States of America, I should say, people of the United States of America are searching for. I already told you one time, I am declaring the war on the United States of America. I told you, because you started to involve issues from MKUltra, presenting them as a forms of terrorism, demanded from me to identify in people and locations wherever those terror attacks took place. And this under completely insane circumstances I'm faced with here in Slovenia. I am on a regular basis, on day-to-day basis, still threatened with psychiatrists. The sirens stopped, but on every step I make, it's always somebody that greets me, reminds me of death threats through psychiatry. My mother does this on a daily basis, and so it goes, basically, without receiving any attention from law enforcement, from international authorities, human rights organizations that would contribute to ending of this bullshit, American bullshit. I told you about this stuff already, and so, but I told you once that I am declaring war on America. I'm going to say to you, I am declaring, this is the second time I'm going to say to you, I'm declaring the war on America. It's going to be impossible to communicate with me because of J.D. Vance, because of Donald Trump, and because of Hegseth, the Republicans, the Republican side. They are corrupt. They are murderers as it gets. They couldn't be more backstabbing than what they are. And they did absolutely everything they possibly could through No Kings movement to get me destroyed, finally get me destroyed completely. I did spoke about the corruption on my blog, and when it comes to the No Kings movement, the No Kings movement is a core of organized crime in United States of America. Imagine the No Kings movement as the epicenter of the organized crime in United States of America. Here are a few screenshots of the front page, of the Yahoo front page. You know, government also does some kind of shutdown, shut my ass. That's simply waste of, I don't even understand how this affects people. I don't even understand how the hell this affects people. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand with these shutdowns exactly what exactly that would mean. There was a lot of psychiatric threats that they involve in this future shutdowns and stuff, about which I didn't give a fuck about any of them. Just as the threats that I'm faced with on a daily basis, you know, the paranoids, schizophrenics, as I was diagnosed in 2012, and I'm not going to use diagnosed, I'm going to say labeled, by people like Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and all this political might that participated in MKUltra did all they possibly could to accommodate Slovenian side. They often see themselves threatened. They often see themselves endangered. They often see themselves You know, I could go on and on and on, but I could also post the stuff on the internet, right? And I would say, you know, this uncle standing on a corner, it would be supposed to be with this. And the other one supposed to be that. And that license plate would be this. And the other, it would be that, and so on. But, you know, why would I want to do this when at Novo Mesto, the so-called police station, you know? That's a police. It's obviously a hijackers, abductors, Guantanamo-alike torturers, murderers, killers, poisoners, physicians. Obviously, these people are correct. There is no such thing as MK Ultra. There never was such thing as MK Ultra. That's what they were asking me. Everywhere, at the police station, at the hospital. Nobody knows what the fuck MK Ultra is. They were involved in poisoning. They were involved in terror. They were involved in torture. But nobody knows. So why the fuck would I go with a camera through the city and demonstrate to the people that throw themselves in me to remind of those deadly threats? I got at least 1 million death threats in the city of Novo Mesto alone. My life was nothing other than death threat since I was baby. I had ambulance workers waving me from the cars after they would, behind the closed doors, death threaten me, guaranteed me death when I was a child, when I already understood what ambulance vehicle is. Why the hell would I even go and bother myself and trash my website so that it would really look like not interesting, because it would repeat all the time? You know, there is so much of this stuff that I cannot put and trash my website in the name of psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, who demanded from me to go and lock all kinds of garbage. What a way to push people away, while at the same time, I cannot afford myself to... These issues run so deep, and there are just so many. Future director of Novo Mesto police station. It's not a director in Novo Mesto. His name is Igor Jurčić. Stated to me, nothing is going to happen. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to be inside of the dust, and nobody will ever come. That's a director of Novo Mesto police station. Well, I am gonna get flashlight. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can. You must see it. It's fucking thick of the fucking dust. Mom didn't fucking clean this place deliberately for a very long time. Because why didn't she clean this place for a very long time? Because Mom tried to help. She tried to do the best stuff. This is where Illuminatis also were inside. Lastly, police was inside here. They did painted this place. They killed Mount Everest of physical evidence, but I'm sure there is still some. Imagine that you have a police director from the police station saying to you, nothing ever is going to happen. The only thing that's going to happen is dust is going to collect and you're going to breathe and you're going to poison yourself further with more dust and so on. Imagine garbager from Ministry of Interior, Department for Investigation of officials with a special authorization, police and such. Miran Sodin is his name. Garbager who called ambulance vehicle on me on October the 30th of 2024 when I requested again assistance at Novo Mesto police station when I started to solve this case, to transport me into psychiatric hospital, who stated to me, nothing is going to happen. The only thing that's going to happen is dust is going to collect more and more and more on whatever you're going to be. Knowing about this stuff, imagine to go to a police station and be taken to a psychiatric hospital, a psychiatric ward, for complaining about MK Ultra procedure. So, everywhere I turn on the internet, it's abuse, which is well masked abuse which they demonstrate me on a laptop with dates of almost yesterday, last month, last few months, which, however, they were demonstrating me forums and stuff like this 10, 15 years ago. I just read about what happened if somebody is ridiculing British royals, how you should go to the nearest British police station and report one, etc., etc. And then the answers of people suggesting you will be seated, you will hear the loud laughing from the people, from the police officers and so on. And that's supposed to be a guide for the people that would go to the police station to protect the royals. And it's misinterpreted in such a way. I read that on a Quora. To clearly suggest if this forum came up when I was searching for the answer about where to report royals, to what department, how to report royals, where to report royals. It was misinterpreted by the police before it was even released. Slovenian, the so-called Slovenian police. And but British royals laugh in my face in such a way so that it would intimidate with a psychiatry as much as possible. You know. And so it would be my word against royals and against the police for what I stated, if I would state it. Plus that they would have the proof, the so-called proof, which is the date when the forum was published. So the internet became a main tool of crime, of organized crime, next to the police. With the police, they believed like they have it all under control, and they're under control, and it's like know how to go past these issues, unless I don't know, unless you subject yourself to their mercy or something like that. I don't understand even what mercy is in this case, because the only thing they try to do is they try to twist the facts into like, went to the police, we did not meet each other. Yeah, I'm sorry, sir, but yeah, you are involved in MK Ultra, and yes, we did. And again, another garbager comes, but we did not meet each other. So it was like one after another. So now if you would go and recall the brainwash in respect to, but you must not say that we meet each other, because they give you some kind of, like, in a parenthesis, helpful advice, which is really not helpful, it's just a common sense. Because we won't be able to help you out and stuff and such. You automatically push yourself closer to the area of schizophrenia, of the mental illness. You understand? So what kind of unprecedented advantage these people have given themselves to make case as much as least as credible as possible. In my case, it's fucking unprecedented. This is fucking unprecedented. The degree of violence from the police, from the government that I faced, this is totally unprecedented. Now I am faced with what they refer to as Epstein victims, with whom Prince William personally solicited over the course of the years. Little, one by one, they had them come inside of this house. They were using these meetings to bait them, and after they bait one, they got another, and so on, and they started to negotiate, and they started to resolve these crimes, but paying them out and making them play according to their scenario. And this is what the fuck I watched, because it ended with victims of Epstein laughing on my face, and with Prince Charles, with Prince William laughing at my face, and the only case that's not going to be solved is going to be mine, and such. See, I'm not begging for any kind of mercy to these people. I'm not asking for any kind of favor, and I am unwilling to negotiate. You see, I am not willing to sit down. I am not willing to talk. I am not willing to have any kind of agreement. I'm not willing to negotiate about this stuff. I demand enforcement, police enforcement, law and order, police. You understand? Police investigator, police. Ding ding. Hello, Mr. Charles. You have been charged with such and such stuff. Please appear at the court in such and such place. Or come with me. We have to go to the nearest police station to get some statements from you. No less in this case. And it goes the same for every royal member. Now, I don't give a three fuck about if this case is not going to be resolved. It's going to be just the way I presented one right now. It's going to be no other way in respect to this case. I'm not any kind of victim. I'm not Epstein. I'm not this and I'm not that. And this video, I'm not an Epstein victim. I'm nobody's fucking victim. Victim are the people that cannot help themselves if the worst comes to worse. This is how I see the victims. Now, I did submit complaint to the U.S. Justice Department of State, to the FBI, to the CIA, to European Court, to European Commissioner, to European Ombudsman, to United Nations, etc., etc. It was complaint it's based on facts, with the proofs, with heart, with people literally involved in it, with people from European Union Anti-Torture Committee involved in this case, before even became Anti-Torture Committee involved in this case. I'm no fucking victim. I am no fucking victim. And I will not allow less than whatever applies to the civilized world, to the civilized society. I will not negotiate. I will not talk to you in absolutely anything other than whatever concerns I complain about on my blog. For me personally, it's too late. I'm not going to say that it was not time when I would actually go and close my eyes and negotiate and talk to you about it. But, you know, when you go to the other side, when you go on the other side, there is two ways to get to the other side. One way is, as police refer to, as they refer to both sides. This is a bulb from Robert Golub, new one, and it seems like it's going to go out at any time, so I better stop this. Robert Golub had all the bulbs modified, so you put the new bulb with the 20,000 hours guaranteed on it, and it's going to go out. I did record the video about that issue, but let's go back to this issue. When it gets interesting, I get really disturbed. I was also told that there will be people who will have a complete control over the bulbs, light inside of the house. They were basically playing with a switch. They insisted me. This is a Slovenian Prime Minister, Robert Golob, whom British oils have used. This is a right hand of Milan Kučan, and this is the guy with faculty for electrics. He's got a doctoratum, University of Ljubljana, faculty of electrical. It's all about electrical, doctor of science, basically, you know, and the one who followed his footsteps, and so that you're not going to doubt about that kind of issue. It was Mitya Weber. That's a husband of my niece Urshka Golob Weber, implicated in genocide against me. Since, man, that one was just on target since almost was born, involved in crime. You see, the same thing, pretty much identical stuff. His role model was Dr. Robert Golob, Slovenian Dr. Robert Golob. So this is his clone right here, who also hoped would get himself into the politics at one point in time. I am unsure exactly where the hell I was when it comes to video, but it was some really, really important stuff I was going to stress to you about this. It was a really, really important stuff I was going to stress to you about this. And so what I'm going to do is, I guess, this is the 25th minute. I'm going to go on with this video, and once I'm done with this video, I'm going to go back, and at the end, I'm going to fix that part. I was deep in it when lights started to fuck, and, you know, there is 2 hours in my head of the video of important news right now that just somehow got interrupted. The No Kings movement. The No Kings movement is... It was year 1997, and I was claimed by Bill Clinton, by British royals, that mainly this was organized by the Bill Clinton, by the British royals, by George Bush, his father, George Sr., you have all kinds of politicians inside, and John McCain and Donald Trump and number of politicians, pretty much all American politicians demanded from me, Republican politicians, mostly Republicans, because I associate myself mentally during MK Ultra with Republicans. With Democrats labeling me completely as a neo-Nazi, and Republican side insisted me that there is nothing you can do for me. This goes to year 1996. There is nothing you can do for me. And, you know, when it comes to the torture, right, to stop the torture, that doesn't mean that you help person. You understand? To stop the fucking torture does not mean that you help the person. You're fucking insane, motherfuckers. To stop the torture means simply, as I stated, stop the torture. Do you know what the fuck torture is? Yes, you do. You do know what torture is. Every one of you murderers knows very good what torture is. You also know what killing is. You have proven that beyond any doubt in Gaza. If anybody out there believes, I should say have doubts about these people, about their generosity, about their ethics, about, you know, etc., etc., don't doubt, because they killed children, they killed women, just as I pointed out on my blog. These are not innocent people. These are killers, these are murderers, these are torturers. If somebody would be laughing to me about this stuff, under normal circumstances, people would be looking at you strange, and you would be more suspicious than I am for making this kind of statements. Today, but it was not always like this. These people maintained the role of saints. They maintained the role of high priests of innocence, of protectors of women and children and other races, and all under disguise, you know, under disguise, protecting humanity. They did torture. They produced that effect which Democratic Party expressed as, you know, like a disgust and so on. So what was so different about 96? Disgust against me. I was disgusting person is what they claimed. What was so different about 96? In 96 I was in the US. I traveled to the US in 95 is when I came to the US. And in 96 I got this bad news that there is nothing they can do for me. You know, the further that this so-called Slovenian independence got away, Slovenian independence took place in 91, and so you got about this shit went on already like in 94, 93, that they're going to do something, you know, that they're going to help me out. We're going to help you. 91, 92, 93, 94, it was Americans, you know, we're going to help you out. We're going to help you out. People were asking what to do with this guy, you know, and yeah, we're going to help you out, you know, so we're going to help you out. And it wasn't about people. This is a mistake you're going to make if you ever find yourself in being tortured, abused by these Illuminatis. These people are never out there to help. These people are out there to murder you. These people are out there to fucking kill you. So there's no such thing like help. What you can do for yourself is basically reject them in absolutely everything possible. There's no worse killers, murderers in this world than politicians. Every fucking politician is a killer. There's no fucking politician that wouldn't be killer. Every one of those politicians for you to be a politician, you have to make decisions about killing people. You have to make constantly decisions about life and death. That's a job of the politician, in case you did not know. No politician is innocent. No politician is innocent. Maybe a little bit hard talk tonight, but this is the way things are. And so they started to soften my brain so I would not be aware of success, basically. Fall of the Soviet Union, independence of Slovenia, and basically getting my school together and stuff, starting a new life, being young and go about stuff. And so they continue to torture, they continue to kill, and talk about how, they are arranging how they're going to help me out. In 96, they told me there is nothing we can do for you. In 96, they told me there's nothing we can do. There's only one thing that we can do for you. They presented to me issue Republicans. It's like, we have been totally rejected by by American people, totally. And now they went through all the connections that they established in the United States of America, within Americans, through this case, and for which they gestured, the people were concerned for you. Oh man, when Americans are concerned for you, you're in a lot of trouble. It's just organized crime, man. This is like a fucking piranha, man. There's nothing as vicious as American wallets. I guarantee you that. They went through the number of these contacts, connections, and demanded them to form a new body that will be for your sake, they told me. Bill Clinton said, and that's going to be for your sake, together with Republican politicians. That's going to be for your sake. And, well, it was not known yet, that time yet, but that was a No Kings movement. And now you had all the Republicans, I should say, conservatives is what they call them, conservatives and people concerned for me, for my well-being, out there on the streets of America, throughout the United States of America. Holy shit. This case already was 23 years old at the time, with numerous people involved in it. Reforming themselves, reforming, because there's nothing you can do for me, man. That was the explanation. You know, the whole America hates you, man. You're a Nazi. The whole America hates you. Reforming themselves into a Democrats. So now you have between Democratic politicians and between the Republican politicians, in my name is what they claim, to help you out, because there's nothing else we can do for you. But we're going to do this thing, it's going to help you out. Who the fuck knew that this shit is going to take only next 30 years of my life? I'm surprised about one thing, and that's basically my being still alive at age 53. It's not about who the fuck would have thought about it's going to take another 30 years, but this scum What they did is they lied and lied and lied, and it was 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20, 30 more fucking years. Hey, well, no kings. 53 years of life was burned through American Constitution, through Republican and Democrat Party. Lastly, through the so-called No Kings movements. And I have all these gangsters, murderers, killers, moms and dads, and their sons and grandsons restructuring themselves into a democratic movement underground. And I have these heroes from the Republican Party who would go out there and assist in penetration of these people into a Democratic Party. And the whole operation literally was ran not by talking about the No Kings movement, literally was ran by the Republicans. This whole thing is ran by the Republicans. This isn't Democrats. This is not even a democratic movement. To form this big movement which is going to help, is going to convince. What the fuck are you guys going to convince? You don't know how to read on my blog? You must be fucking illiterate. You don't understand English? Is it my language that is so fucking bad that you don't understand anything about what I told you about on my blog? It matches. Everything matches. Everything matches whatever was noted during MK Ultra. Everything is 100% legitimate on my blog. It matches to 100%. When it comes to political stuff, how it was, who this big incidents and stuff that went on, everything matches 100%. So what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck are you trying to explain here to the world? What the fuck are you lying about this whole fucking thing? What the fuck are you doing? That's a lie. The No Kings is a lie. When you say that you're gonna help, you're fucking helping nobody here. There's only one explanation for you to do this stuff. There's two explanations. One is either you're fucking illiterate or you're fucking insane. Criminally insane. Other than that, everything stated on my blog, and it was not American side, it was Indian, it was Chinese, it was other governments that were familiarized with this case, that they got to read this stuff. Transcripts about this case. It's a big fucking case, the biggest case ever. It's the biggest espionage criminal case in the history of the world. All you gotta do is basically check mark everything I state. There is no question, there is no other issue for you to do. Nobody needed any kind of special favors. Nobody needed anything, and that now it comes that Hegseth is his name, right? Hegseth and J.D. Vance. Shit part. That's when it comes the shit part. That's the shit part. But at least they were honest about it. At least they were honest. At least these two guys were honest. I mean, at least J.D. Vance and Hegseth, at least they were honest. Now that's the fucked up part about this No Kings movement. This is the fucked up part. You heard about Donald Trump not being worried about the No Kings movement. Now he's right. He's 100% legitimate. He's correct about it. It's correct. That's exactly right. He shouldn't be worried about any of that stuff. You know, it's all good. He shouldn't be worried about it. He made bloody sure that he would cover it all. So what's this fucked up part about this Republican stuff? What they did in 1994, 1993, 1992, as soon as Slovenia became independent, and then they followed 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. They brainwash how there's nothing they can do for me because of my reputation and so on, but there is one thing they're going to help and so on. Hexet is going to have to answer this to the FBI, and you will. I will find a way to you, man. I will. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, he stated that I'm going to be thrown into the psychiatric hospital if it's not going to be according to their calculations. So nice, such a nice people with the J.D. Vance, that if things are somehow not going to work out for me, it's just going to be psychiatric hospital. He did not like psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, but then again, he have seen himself in psychiatrist Peter Kapsch all too much, based on my opinion, based on impression I got, based not only on impression. You see, I match what I see today is happening with what went on during MK Ultra, and based on my performance, I can say that Hexet and JD Vance, when it comes to me, I don't have anything else to say for these two guys other than on this video. They flashed in my face, and you can read about that stuff. In 2016, that Donald Trump didn't want to solve something that was easily solvable and that kind of stuff. But that stuff was all saved for some other issues. I mean, what they do is they totally fuck you up, but they always leave something open so they can fuck with your faith. You know, with your hope, I should say, not well, faith, hope. You know, so just so that you follow into a precipice, into death, through the silence, basically, their plot, basically, their plots, because this isn't about one plot when it comes to MK Ultra. This is just million plots that just list themselves like one after another, that so that if you somehow manage through one cluster, you're not gonna manage through the other one, you sure not gonna through the third one, you're gonna, you know, then on long term you get exhausted and you start making mistakes and stuff like this. I did told you about the lack of sleep they introduced in MK Ultra and play with. That cardiovascular sleep deprivation, trauma-based procedure was not a joke. That was not a laughing matter. It had its purpose. You know, there are different kind of poisoning. You can give the healthiest food to somebody, you don't allow him to sleep, and you stress him out like a mouse, and you do trauma on him. That is not necessarily something that he will not develop cardiovascular and, you know, other health problems because of issues like this, because of a good food, because of the healthy food, whatever. What they did in 1990, beginning in 1992, and then through 1996, that's basically saying to me, oh no, there's nothing we can do for you. Here's what these two Republicans demanded from me, basically, in 2018, 2019. That's basically when I was already Superman. If you say in 2018, when I came to Poland and I started to identify people, you know, that MK Ultra did not take place, they would be laughing at you if everything would be done by the law, and they would put you into psychiatric hospital, whoever that would be. Whoever would try to counter the claim, the stuff that's based on audio recording proofs, you would be so fucking gone. But the corruption, the organized crime, the criminality makes things so possible. Ursula von der Leyen was just that's probably the worst woman. This is just. It's hard to believe it's a woman, but Germans had some good, really high quality SS ladies, Gestapo ladies inside of the concentration camp. I understand. They were out with an outstanding performance, and make no mistake about it, Ursula von der Leyen I'm gonna stop here because it's not healthy to go to that area. They demanded from me in 2019, 2018, 2019, and also in 2020 to absolutely see myself in No Kings movement. Hexet, J.D. Vance were the ones that they delivered me this news. They told me, we the Republicans are never going to recognize your case. This was the sad news. Like I give a three fuck about you. I learned all about who you are, what kind of people you are. I learned everything about who is, what kind of people I was dealing with. I don't like, if there is somebody who thinks that I'm switching the side and, oh, fuck you Democrats, fucking motherfucker Democrats. Watch this video to understand what people of the United States of America are. I told you. You're gonna get me on a back foot, on a bad foot. It's gonna hurt you. I'm not here to make deals. I'm not here to switch sides. And I don't give a three fuck about, because this is what all it was, And I'm not gonna see you anymore, or I'm not gonna be allowed to see myself in you anymore. And they're gonna go after me, and so on and so forth. Oh, what a tragedy! What a fucking tragedy, isn't it? What a tragedy! They told me, we're not gonna recognize you. We're never gonna recognize you. Well, when I said it with them and I talked with them, because I was extremely friendly with Hexet and J.D. Vance most of the time. And I said, how come? How come that's not going to be the case? That was really worrisome. That was really, I didn't understand. I would expect that this shit is not going to even go through the U.S. Justice Department of State, or that this would go through law enforcement agency. I simply was certain that already when I was in Poland, when I started to put these proofs, I was certain that as I will do my stuff, I will continue to do my stuff. I came to a conclusion that you are fucking insane as a royal not to meet me on the side and stop this shit. That you are clearly a lunatic out there to either murder me, kill me, due to my health problems, due to psychiatry, or simply you want to be destroyed as a royalty, that you're suicidal or something like that. I did not found, once I started to do this stuff, I'm a persistent person, man. When I grab this, I don't let go no more. I either fucking die or I get the stuff done. I mean, this is just the way it is. And nobody met me. Then I meet these dudes. The torture goes on in 2018, 2019, 2020. To my surprise, they increase the torture. They decrease the torture in some aspects, but the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Poli did not give in. They continue to torture. Actually, the psychiatric hospital here in Slovenia did not dare to approach me in the same way like they did just before I left from Slovenia through Czech Republic to the Poland. They brought me one more time to the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Poli. They continued to torture. They delivered me to Donald Trump. This was already. They delivered me to Donald Trump as a president he was, and Melania Trump did his best together with Ivanka Trump. They demanded from the father to get me killed anyhow, some way, somehow, through the torture that they would do. So they literally insisted him that it's so much torture necessary at that point, that so that when I would be returned back to Poland, I would lose the track of what stuff that I was doing. That was Ivanka Trump. Oh man, that's a beast. That's a fucking beast. That's not a human being. Czech guy who was Slovakian from Bratislava, Czech minister, is Andrej Babiš was the one who had the honor, this really a thug, to deliver me under torture circumstances to Donald Trump, the United States of America. I still find myself in Thailand, tortured in 2019 and 2020. Severe cardiovascular burnout. Slovenian police still went on everything or nothing. They were still buying people. They still, whatever people they had, they were still throwing money on the table in the northern Thailand, and they did all they possibly could to get rid of me. They did. Even in 2020, they did not lose hope. So, now again, I forgot exactly where the hell I was. 51. I was told that, oh, we're okay. I was told that Republican Party is not going to save me. So, I'm thinking about this shit. Because this is when I had everything beautifully sorted out as far as MKUltra proofs and stuff. I'm thinking about this stuff, and I'm saying to myself, I say to myself, I never had a physical evidence about MKUltra. This time I had physical evidence about MKUltra, and in Poland, I did try to make contact with international police authorities through Polish police, and they were extremely unhelpful, not cooperating, led by Slovenian police. I was a Slovenian, I heard from Kaczynski's. I was not Polish, I was theirs, not theirs. That's the way it was. From Kaczynski circles, Polacks. It was the first time that it wasn't a dilemma, because I figure out, I said to myself, you know, in 2018, 2019, 2020, in 2019 and 2000 and definitely in 2020, I could go and I could smack the fuck out of you. The problem was a little bit that I had a broken spine, and you couldn't do shit to me during MKUltra. I could go and fucking blast you, maybe even kill you, and you couldn't do shit to me anymore. This is the time when the MKUltra proofs came out. You could kill me, you would do me a favor. You could do shit to me in 2020. The thing is that this was a long way to get there. 48 years, no less. And so I figure out, I will just listen whatever you have to blah, 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 blah. You know, whatever you have to caboozle, blah, 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 blah. I'll give you your 5 minutes, and maybe even make myself concerned, stressed out, whatever, to convince you that the stuff that you do is just the kind of stuff that needs to be done. You did not need, really. It's evident now. You just needed somebody to listen. Just to sit there physically so that you could video, audio record yourself and take it to Washington, and you know, I my job. You know, my job is done. That's all there is to it. But I didn't have to listen to any one of you. You guys really didn't matter. You guys did not even exist anymore in beginning the 2018, 19, and 20. You guys were fucking nobodies. If I smash you, destroy you, whatever the fuck I would do, you couldn't do to me. Look, you couldn't even move like a finger to me like this. Simple thing. It is just as simple as this. What the fuck would you tell people? How the hell would you? What would you say? He hit me and I killed him or whatever. Yeah, good luck to you with that one. That was a 2018, 2019, 2020. I listened. So J.D. Vance and Hegseth told me they're never gonna, Republican Party, he's sitting right here, talking about the Hegseth. And I said, right exactly where I sit. That's what I said right here. He said to me, we're gonna bail you out. We're never gonna save you. The Republican Party. He wanted me to acknowledge, to understand, the Republican Party whatsoever will absolutely have nothing to do with me. And instructed me to embrace the No Kings movement, which was negotiated inside of our house through, it was really, really interesting to have Bernie Sanders, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez sitting next to Hegseth, J.D. Vance, and this whole palette of these politicians inside of our house. Literally, it will be Bernie Sanders, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez inside of the living room area. We would sit and she would talk to me about this issue, that issue, and so on. I'm not blaming the girl. The girl is trying hard. She told me, and I was also telling people not to. I saw her videos right now. When this No Kings movement, on her Facebook page, she posted the videos. And those videos are just simply outstanding. I like every one of those videos. I see myself in those videos. I never had a problem with any of this stuff. The only problem that we had with the Democratic Party and myself, the biggest problem that was out there, that's at least what they claim me. The problem that we had, we couldn't agree on immigration. You see, the stuff that Donald Trump is doing, ICE was involved in MK Ultra since at least, my God, man, since probably 2000. I was meeting immigration agents, all kinds of agents, border patrol people, isn't it interesting? It's crazy. I became a citizen in 2000, and I was meeting all these people already before. And it was along the way as it went all about what, meeting undocumented immigrants, the same thing as they will be doing for the sake of, drugs, illicit drugs, organized crime, gangs. Listen, I was in a deep Colombia where, deep in the Brazil, in areas where nobody alive from outside the world ever walked out. I was in such areas that is just mind-blowing shit, where they got me through this connections, all kinds of people that were involved. I don't know if, I'm not going to say if there was a single criminal boss that didn't, from South America, that didn't meet me, but man, they had me absolutely everything. I don't know what is the name of that pass in Colombia. Throughout Venezuela, I was with the foreign legionnaires, and in Guyana, and in Africa, and you fucking name it. I was on the North Pole, I was on the fucking South Pole. I was in the most remote distance, and islands, and seas, and you fucking name it. Literally. I was a warmonger. And if I appeared at whatever location, it would be other side that would be citing my presence, all kinds of, there's this culture of, I was not really a warmonger. I was just, having my views based on MK Ultra interactions, based on my views, but mostly it had to do with the violence that was involved in MK Ultra. Culture of provocating people, culture of, like people comment, you read in the comments, and they start to mentally sicken one another and so on. And that's what the fuck they were doing. It doesn't come to me right now when you make some kind of a facial whatever and they put that into a GIF, GIF, or I don't know how we say that in English. And, that's how the people express their approval, disgust, or, whatever, sorrow, whatever the case might be. It's this kind of culture that in the world of intelligence is crucial to obtain reactions from other sides and, a response basically, because everything works on responsiveness. This is the key of the espionage, is responsiveness. You know what I mean? So I was really the best at that stuff. There was nothing like this. And my case was, they called me a dinosaur. They had people, they told me the people don't last. They last 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Those that last 5 years already are it's strange, and you last so long and so on. I was meeting the people who are involved in torture. Mike Tyson can tell you about that stuff. That were absolutely certain they're never ever going to meet me again because of the heart problems I already had. But the heart adjusted itself, it repaired itself, and the next time when they saw me, I was again as good as new. This was crazy stuff, beyond insane stuff. And I would call this a crime culture, which somehow became American national character culture through basically hypocrisy. We are just not like he is. When the job is done, is basically fuck you. That's a payment, basically. Payment is like bullet in your head. That's how the gangsters do. American culture is a gangster culture. This is a typical gangster mafia. They are all kings in America. This is about no king movement. And in the end, I'm going to give you opinion about why I don't see myself in this no king movement, J.D. Vance, basically, they literally had Republicans, Bill Clinton, Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Obama was already out of the picture because the stuff that he did, he threw me into the psychiatric hospital, that kind of stuff. He was just not out there. That man was not. He failed tremendously. They totally coordinated how exactly they're gonna do with me. You know what I mean? How they're gonna convince me. Chuck Schumer was in it. I saw myself in a Chuck Schumer. I saw myself in the Democrats. I didn't have a problem with the people. Whatever. Well, what the fuck would be a problem? Democrats were honest with me. There was really no problem with me. The only issue that we had a disagreement with, if we go back, was on immigration. Why we did have issue on immigration? You know, they implicated me with extremely violent immigrants. They implicated numerous immigrants, illegals from Lebanon and from the Palestine. You understand why that would be. Some of whom you have seen even deported, involved in torture. Talking about Republicans doing that kind of stuff. Talking about, you know, this college campuses stuff that went on, that was on the news and so on. All that stuff, college campuses that you have seen on the news and the media, they were all implicated in this stuff. They were using me on a college, at universities and college campuses to sting students, to see their political opinion, to check out and how do you see themselves, you know. What they do is they use somebody, and, you know, that's somebody that performs certain thing, certain trick, certain monkey trick on you, and gets certain desired response, then introduces you as such to the broader audience. And then he observes the people, how they react to your persona, basically to your appearance. That's what this is. This is why it was such a big deal. Every image on a Google, as you open from a known person, I'm not saying that they took that image right and posted one afterwards through certain news outlet or whatever. When I was there, that's not what the fuck I'm saying. I'm saying that they video recorded my facial expressions for everything that went on. They did. It wasn't about hard to get proofs about me when it comes to MK Ultra. The proofs were just fucking overwhelming. It was just two overwhelming proofs. Secrecy, lunacy, not a secrecy. This is no secrecy. This is a lunacy. This is an intergovernmental organized crime. The world where we live in. The world we live in is judged by my case. It's not judged by people that drive Ferraris and stuff. It's judged by the way some person, his, you know, denial of the right to exist, basically. That's what the fuck is what defines the world. You know, that's where the world where we live in. So realistic. So this Jewish Israeli genocidal movement that marched through the United States of America, you know. By the way, Netanyahu is going to tell you that I'm not going to get into that stuff. Not in this video, some other time. The immigration for me was a simple matter. I came to the United States and I was doing things legally. I don't want to do anything illegally. I even married an older lady so that everything could be by the paperwork legally. Lady was older, yes, and I wasn't planning on staying with her. I let her know already in advance at the beginning. We had a good time and we had a safe time together, and we also had a bad time, whatever it was. But through it all, everything was done in a legal way. Whatever the hell I was doing, it was always done legal way. I never liked to, I did not like the idea of getting married to somebody with the money. The idea that I would come into somebody's house, to his daughter, myself, why the fuck would that be? I mean, I owed a lot of fucking money. I was owed a lot of fucking money. Governments owed a lot of fucking money. I am not a regular. I never was a regular person. I never was any kind of person, a regular person. That I would end up inside of somebody's house who is actually a nobody and marrying a daughter, his daughter, and become a nobody's, that does with you around the little finger. That did not work for me. That simply doesn't work. It never worked for me. It never will work for me, that kind of stuff. Like I say, I'm an independent person, yes. And the thing is, I was ready to pay for it. I more than pay for it. And then they started to play with employment. They played with employment as soon as I got my school together and stuff. It was impossible to get anywhere near as profession as educated for. They pushed me here in Slovenia. They fortified ethnic cleansing immediately. Clearly that I am not Slovenian. I am absolutely no Slovenian. Clearly I'm not Slovenian. The way I was treated is what Slovenes were describing the Austrian and Italian and German occupation of Slovenia. You know, no right to the job, no right to this, no, and that kind of stuff that was not even there. But the hallucinators, Slovenes, the way they hallucinated, the way it was twisting in their heads, the shit they saw, you don't fucking say that I'm a Slovenian person, because this is no way to treat, this is no way to treat anybody, stuff like that, you know. I only could read about, and the same thing was in the US, about, you know, blacks being discriminated, Hispanics being discriminated, Asians being discriminated, and I'm not even saying that they are not discriminated. I don't have anything against you, man. Yeah, I believe that you actually were discriminated, and if I could help you, I would fucking help you. But I was the one who was paying the price. To the Asians, to the blacks, to the Hispanics, thanks to American white community. And got to read this stuff, watch this stuff, and so on, and so on and so forth. This is just, I wasn't really sure, really, who enforced all this stuff against me. Who the fuck, what they talk about, Democratic Party, Republican Party, I don't know. And then this libertarians appeared, you know, and even the pirates appeared with the so-called pirate party. All of a sudden, in every country, they had their representatives. They lied all the time about how this one is going to save you, that one is going to save you, this one, you know, that one, you know, Assange, you know, who the fuck, you know, everybody's going to fucking save you. And you're out there, and you don't actually even count on that somebody is going to save you. You quietly plan on fucking escape. You apply for 30,000 jobs here. You apply for 10,000 jobs here. You walk from door to door in one city, in second city, in third city, fourth city. You move to another place, the same fucking shit. 5 cities, 10 fucking cities. You know, you apply for asylum in Canada. You walk door to door in Chicago. You walk door to door in Minneapolis. You do it through Miami. You do it through, you know, you try in Budapest. You try in Villach, let's say, in Austria, not too far from here. You try. What the fuck do you don't try? You did the same thing in fucking Norway. Found myself in a fucking Norway applying from door to door in Bergen for the jobs, searching for the jobs, crazy. In Göteborg all of a sudden, in Sweden, searching for the job, applying for a fucking political asylum. In Belgium, in Germany, in Norway, and so on. Finally, through Hungary and in Ukraine and in Czech Republic and in Poland, and I fucking ended up in a fucking Belarus because the plane would not take me to the Moscow. you fucking lose from this shit, from this fucking Illuminatis. These people were never out there to save me, man. These people were never out there to help. These people had the same intentions to do with me, the least, as they have done with Harvey Lee Oswald. Harvey Lee Oswald is the one who popped supposedly Kennedy. I had no interest to pop anybody. And I actually crushed Soviet Union. I crushed the Greater Serbian Chetnik state. I really did. I was at the tip of smashing of the Soviet Union. I was right at the tip of that corruption. Right at the tip. I was that edge right at the top. It would never fucking happen without me, ever. Nowhere even remotely it would have happened. And what the fuck? I'm being told that if we go back to this, that I'm not going to be saved, that I will not be saved from Republican Party. That, I never asked the fucking Republican Party. Fuck you, motherfuckers. Fuck you. I saw myself in Republican Party. I saw myself in I always did in a conservatives. All through, I wonder what the fuck the Democrats were about. I always wanted to understand what the Democrats are about. And to tell you the truth, I never could understand. I tried to enroll myself in a Democratic Party in the U.S. one time, 2 times maybe, because I became angry with Republicans. One time I was angry with one, another time I was angry with that one. Then I realized that I don't even understand why the fuck am I angry with these people, because they don't make sense and they don't make also fucking sense. And whether you fucking understand this American science about Democrats and Republicans. I think that No Kings movement summarizes it all. No. I am really extremely independent person. I did all kinds of unstable stuff in my life because of the circumstances I was in. Blacklisted means forcefully unemployed. Stuff that I absolutely don't want to even think about I would do under normal circumstances, like borrow the money from my ex-wife, or stupid shit, and that I would go and beg for mercy somebody. Listen, man, you had maybe close to 1 million people involved in this. There's nobody that could say that I ever begged anybody for any mercy. And it didn't matter if they had me 1 week or 2 weeks without a sleep. It did not fucking matter to me that I would go and beg anybody for a mercy. I would just not do that kind of stuff, man. It didn't matter, man. People showed me their money, they showed me their Rolls Royces, were laughing at me and this and that. And, look what I have, look what I am, and but you just don't want it, and so on. Don't meet me, basically. Don't even meet me in real time. I don't have a time for stuff like for evil like this. No, man. If you do the stuff like this, and we're gonna meet you, in this. Nobody ever said they would meet me, but my motto is that even if you appear yourself, I will not meet person like this, because you express ultimate derision for me by demonstrating your wealth in. This isn't a poverty, this is a life emergency. This is not MK Ultra. Every one of those sessions that you forced through the cardiovascular, sleep deprivation, burnout procedures. That's basically killing person. and you dare to actually flash your wealth, your cars, your villas, your castles and stuff like this. This is extremely, extremely disconcerting, disgusting. And the time when I would even consider this as a, some kind of flirting with the wealth and sympathy and stuff like this, a possibility, maybe something, it's fucking gone. It's past. I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter how much money you have, what the fuck you are, what you this and that. I told you, I wouldn't even marry a girl that I would end up inside of her daddy's home. This never, I had opportunity to even do this here in Slovenia. Twice. I wouldn't do any of that. There's no way you would fucking get me to do other guys do it, but I wouldn't do it. I was called dunk, I was called shit, I was, nothing is yours, you never accomplish anything and so on, since I was born. And the stuff that was stolen from me, they stole life from me. It's not even about the money in this case. It's a different world, it's a different standards that apply to me. And of course, those of you who did this stuff, you knew this stuff. You know that you're a bad people. You know that very good. When Hexet said so, because they talk about all this stuff, they will recognize you and recognize you. And so I said, so when do you? I said, she said, what? Recognize this? They pull the words out of your mouth, And he said, never. He said, never, because you did this and you did that, and the people see you like this and it's that. That would do very bad for the Republican Party and this and that and so on and so forth. And demanded for me to see myself in a No Kings movement. Hexet did, J.D. Vance did, the Donald Trump henchmen that you watch, these are not the only two who demanded from me to see myself in a No King movement. Absolutely not the only people. It was also other people who demanded from me to see myself in a No Kings movement. I'm not saying that this girl was one of them. This girl was just Marjorie Taylor Greene was just in this thing, and she's part of the Republican Party, and I don't know. I would not go against her because she did bitch her own political option. She did bitch her own political party. Donald Trump was not excited with her already during MK Ultra. He was not excited about her. But keep her around only because of me, because I liked her. So she was not really, she had her views, and I don't know. I did explain to you about how Bill Clinton, how they introduced me in our house also to demanded for me to see myself as negotiating with this, what I described as black terrorists. They had some thugs, black thugs, that they presented like a terrorists to me, who demanded for me to see myself in illegal immigration and that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that I was talking to you. They negotiated. Bernie Sanders did, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They all demanded from me to see myself in this kind of immigration. Anyways, and it was how the fuck is that anyways? Well, basically, the anyways is like that's basically the Chuck Schumer. That basically when you know you're fucking wrong, but you tell the guy, well, you have to do it anyways. And I said to myself, how the fuck anyways is that? I mean, you're not going to have a fucking border that you're going to make sure that the people that come in the country are, legitimate people, right? I mean, aren't you going to fucking do that? I mean, they should be able to run your fucking background check when you go to the country. If you enter the country, I mean, no, should you have a fucking ID, and your country should have a contract with whatever country you're coming from, and based on that one, the information will be provided whether you're wanted, by your country. They list you on the Interpol list or whatever the case might be. So once you arrive to another country, you have a problem, whatever problem that pops up on the screen of the immigration, police, and you might not be allowed to enter the country. They might actually deport you back to your country, or you know what I mean? I mean, how can you be safe in your country if you have workers coming from all over the place for whom you don't know even who they are? They might be killing people in their own countries yesterday, and today they're your neighbors. You know that in America, I mean, it's like everywhere else in the world. I mean, all the person does is, with his compañeros, they go and they rent the room, and they go, it's a good price, they pay well, they can be your neighbors. It is just as simple as this, and maybe co-workers or whatever might be that you share with them. You may just walk down the street and you meet them, or you go to the restaurant, or you might be served at the restaurant by them. They work everywhere. Immigration we're talking about, and so how the fuck can I agree to have criminals, all kinds of people entering the United States of America, where job markets, based on my own experience, was extremely poor, with extremely poor outlook? How the hell can I agree to just how the hell can I become a member of some kind of political party that wants this kind of stuff, right? And they told me, well, but do it anyways, basically. Basically, you're saying to me, yeah, you're right, but do it anyways. This is going to be a big, this was not no more Democratic Party. This politicians talk in the name of the No Kings movement. Now, this is No Kings. Now, what the fuck I have to do with the Kings? What the fuck I have to do now with the Kings? I ain't got nothing to do with the Kings. I don't have no problems with the Kings. I don't have anything against the Kings. You know what I mean? But they presented this whole shit with British royals acting really viciously, ugly with me. Is they're not going to help you out. They're not saving you out. This was through the psychiatric hospital, which, yes, it didn't make sense. But what kind of friends the fuck are these friends that were, involved all along? But they would not. They just supported the psychiatric mistreatment of making fun of me in London when Slovenian police would deliver me, and laugh at the mistreatment of the Slovenian police here in this house, in my father's home. What kind of friends is this? Are really not friends. That's bloody true. Yeah, that is true. It's 1 + 1 is 2. It didn't come to me that these are the same people we're talking about in 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, financed literally by the British royals. Prince Andrew was the biggest one of this. That was 98. Prince Andrew expressed a repeated demand, together with the Prince Charles, for this No Kings movement. He said at one point in time they're going to rebel against us. It was like they're going to find out who the fuck we are, what we do. And so we have to create this No Kings movement before No Kings movement creates itself. And that's how this No Kings movement was completely controlled, situated, controlled, financed, everything through. This is worse than controlled opposition, man. This is worse than controlled opposition. Through British royals, through CIA, FBI, Republican Party, and so on. This is no treason. There might be people, it was all the time during MK Ultra, this will be a treason. If you will tell this, it will be a treason. It will be a treason. It will be treason. I don't have to tell you, even explain you why this is not a treason. This is disgusting. This is so fucking disgusting what you people did, that I've never heard for anything as disgusting as you people were. And that's why I told you plainly in this video, this is the war declaration on people of the United States of America. You're fucking scum. Scum of the scum you are. You have a problem with the kings. The thing is, you don't have a problem with the kings. You didn't have any kind of problem with the kings. You went along kings. As a matter of fact, every fucking one of you was and is a king. There is more kings in the United States of America and queens than there is anywhere else in the world, and that's a fact. You guys do whatever the fuck you want to do. You stamped on American flag, on American Constitution in my case, close to 53 years. Right? It's a law, it's a constitution, and what the fuck you did in my case with law, with the Constitution. It does not pertain only to American Constitution and to American domestic laws. It pertains also to international treaties concerning smuggling, hijacking, torture, and so on. And what the fuck you did? What the fuck you did with it? Did you act it on your own? Well, those who had the right to act on their own, basically, those are kings and queens. You guys are kings and queens. This is not about the no king movement. The no king movement, no kings movement is when the truth comes out and you try to corrupt the mind, you try to instill your way of like you're doing something when in fact you're not fucking doing nothing other than stealing more and more time, more and more precious time, causing more and more damage. And you're trying desperately to find some way, somehow, like, you know, that there was something that went on, that we did have something going on, and so on and so forth. That's very, very, very bad. That's very bad. That's not even a banana state, like I stated. That's no fucking state. That's no fucking state at all. And I never asked any one of you for a favor. If police, as a police officers, don't know what their job requires them to do, if you guys don't understand what torture is, I am disgusted with you. I don't even know how the fuck to see you as. You are Gestapo. You are SS. It's no wonder about what took place in Gaza, in Israel, in Gaza, in Palestine. What the Jews did in Palestine, it's no fucking wonder. What American money, what American taxpayers' money bombs did with the Gaza children, women, Palestinian children and women. There's no fucking wonder. There's nothing surprising about it. And it's nothing that something like this could not repeat. As Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stated, that things could get worse, and it could be in other locations and so on, it could be even worse, and it could get worse and worse and worse. But what exactly you guys, what exactly is your purpose? I have to ask you, what exactly is the purpose of your democracy in this world, to this world? I mean, no, this is not against the Democrats, because Democrats, in my opinion, do not even exist. Republican and Democratic Party are one political system. Now, there are certain differences, but there are also certain issues into which there is absolutely no difference between Republican and Democratic Party, with my being as one of those issues. So when I had this Marjorie Taylor said what she did was she wanted me to she was used to steer me in a blind street. She didn't want me to associate myself with the Democrats, so I cannot blame her for that stuff. The worst person of them all was Mike Johnson, Mike Johnson, by far the worst person of them all. This one here, I would say that this makes sense to me because she went after the certain issues pertaining to the Republican Party. You just don't see stuff like this from the Democrats. Where the fuck are the Democrats that will go out there and be honest with the Democrats about certain things that make no fucking sense, yet they enforce them in spite of general well-being? I mean, this one, she came out and she did something that it's kind of a strange, it's not really a regular thing in the United States of America. You just don't see stuff like this. Mike Johnson, however, was the man who sided with me in absolutely everything and also in absolutely nothing. To him, the biggest concern was No Kings movement, and even for the No Kings movement, Mike Johnson claimed he already had solutions, the ways to pronounce them as terrorists, etc., etc., etc. None of which I can associate myself with. I cannot associate myself with any of that. I would not say that. No Kings movement is a terrorist movement in any way, because there is also honest people inside in there. There's also people that did go out there with a heart, with idea to make a difference, and it would be plainly evil for me to say that everybody is the same, everybody is everybody, everybody's that. But they did. They really, really did a great job by demonstrating the participants of this movement, of this No Kings movement, because there was this, and I did not even bother with it. I did not bother with that stuff, taking photos of people that participated in these protests. Let me see. Is it one? Is it any further, this stuff? This shit went on for a while. Look at that, man. They demonstrated those articles. If you would click to this custom signs and celebrations and so on, if you would click on that sign, then you would see all kinds of people, some of whom directly were involved in this stuff. Moms and dads, much older than me, already were involved in this case as a children. Grandfathers and grandmas. That's how old my case is. You could see them marching. And that's basically really, really corruptious because of what I already explained under the news, that you can see right underneath. You're going to see Bill Clinton, right? No, you're not on this one here? Okay, here you can see it. Right on the bottom you can see it. Why men are leaving the left? You gotta read this blog that I did. I did the whole study on this stuff. Bill Clinton insisted that all the people who are in the No Kings movement see themselves in me, and so on and so forth. At the same time, you have a J.D. Vance and Hegseth insisting that they're not going to be able to do anything if I don't make it. Yeah, they said, if you don't make it through the No Kings movement, you're dead, man. There's nothing else we can do for you. So basically, you labeled them as a leftist and you demanded from me to become a communist, didn't you? To summarize this video, you remember about the difference between the Democrats and about Republicans? I told you about how the British royals ran this stuff. So how can you be so cruel? I mean, this is after 30 years, more than 30 years, I get the notice that I get to see what you started to do in 92, more than 35 years ago, 34, 33 years ago, what you commenced, what you demanded from me, instead of stopping this thing, how you started to develop, sicken basically through the forced unemployment with. So this is also good good, excellent video about what makes mental illness illness. I mean, you got all the answers about who is running this show and how hard United States people of the United States of America tried this. People were they're so proud about not having kings. We don't want kings, we don't want tyrants and so on. They know so much about the freedom of our liberties, right? But yet when it comes to, they only mumble about some Epstein, and so far the Prince Andrew lost the title. Prince Andrew is going to end up flying to Emirates, Bahrain or some country like that. It was already all arranged, all that stuff that you watch on the media, with police even admitting they did something they're not supposed to and stuff like this. Well, Prince Andrew that demanded from me all the time for me to see a police officer investigating one, that he was caught, that he was caught, and that he was caught. It was all the time speculation and I don't know, all kinds of crap like this that they just didn't know how to twist and demand from me to see myself lost and so on. I told you about the British leftists, British communists, how they became viciously involved in this case. I told you about their connection to the British oils. I told you about Prince Charles, his ultimate fantasy, being seen in this world as a communist at the same time as imperial, as a royal. That's how they do this stuff. So this, it's not difficult to tell that these people had a bad plans for me a long time ago. The way they wanted to pay all this was by really the honest American way, basically by the, the way it's done, honest way, right? So that's how you do it, and you keep repeating the lie about some kind of democracy, and that's how it goes. So as long as you repeat the lie, that's basically how it goes, right? I'm afraid the United States of America is a story about the lie that self-repeats itself with a lot of bombs, articulates the facts. Now this lie was good, welcome, due to a lot of poverty, a lot of wars that the United States of America in a great way managed to stop around the world, managed to humanize the world in many ways. The United States of America liberated Caribbean, South America, not only United States of America, not only Americas and world in many ways. It's a story about democracy, about the success. I'm not denying that stuff. But in this case of mine, this is a failure, like people failure. Like it does not even concern politicians anymore. You definitely did go too far in my case. I'm not a leftist. I'm not a communist. I'm not interested in becoming leftist. I'm not interested in becoming communist. Why would I be a communist? Why the fuck would I be a leftist? I mean, leftists, communists, as they refer to themselves, they tortured, they killed since I was born into this world. And they claimed that we are all equal, they claimed. And they claimed that they were disadvantaged. That there is no difference if you have 10 children or you have no fucking children. That there is no difference if you have 10 kids or you have 1 or 2 kids. They claim that those 10 kids that they bring to this world must have just as much as your 2 kids. I'm making sure that your 2 kids don't have because you are wealthier and that their kids need because they don't have it. You don't think that's a robbery of lives and killing people and all kinds of stuff like this? Communism is not just. You can work all the fuck you want at your machine. But
at the end of the month, the pay is going to be the same as the guy that scratched his ass, his balls, and did nothing. That's a communism. So for me personally, go out there, do more, and get paid the same shit. It turned people into shit in front of my eyes, and it turned me into shit. These combinations of the socio-economic transitions that I made, seeing throughout the world the way it functions, this shit affected me, I'm gonna say. This stuff affects you. It's different type of mentality in different type of the world that makes countries, nations, and makes other countries and nations fail. But in this case, this is a different kind of ingenuity that he came up with. And I'm afraid that this is not a success story from the democracy. The biggest democracy in the world, as is known, United States of America, miserably failed. With all the talk show people, with all the actors that you have seen from United States of America involved in this, all the sportsmen people, all the people and their relatives. When I said 1 million people was involved in this shit, you can be involved in it, but you can bet their relatives all learned about it and came to see this seven wonder with their own eyes. Touch it, see it, feel it. Too many proofs, too many people involved in it, and too many lies to count. This isn't the story about the United States of America only. This is about the corruption, global corruption. This is about communist and capitalist and so on and so forth. You see, the issues that bothered me the most, as I said, about the Democratic Party. Maybe it was the Democratic Party that tried to make certain amendments to their established ways. Maybe that's why they were using me. Yeah, I think it didn't make them sense. Yeah, I think that I was not the only one. But are there more differences between me and them? Yes, of course. Now, why the fuck would I go and demote myself into a nobody? Or I should say average you. Why the fuck would I do that? Based on the principles that I talked to you earlier about. What is it? Is it like any difference if you wrongfully incarcerate somebody for 1 year or you wrongfully incarcerate him for 50 years? You will say, no, it's not. Your principles work like this. The principles of the communists and of the Democrats, the principles of the Republican Party members, because you don't want to waste money. You are always, of course, you are very efficient. You are saving. Yes, it's the same. Of course, it's the same thing. This one make 200 billion, that one make 300 billion, that one make million, that one make I don't know what gazillion. Is it any difference through this case, through all this that I have gone through? Is there like a reason that you have that money and I don't have that money, or why I should put myself in the pants of somebody that just works in a factory or have his 6 to 2 o'clock or whatever you say job? You understand that? You understand my position where you guys are trying to put me? When you try to make yourself kings, obviously. What you try to say through your no king movement is what you're saying is that you have a constitution, that you have laws. But where the fuck were those laws for the last 53 years? Let me ask you this question. Where the hell do you have those laws? And now you're going to turn the story and you're going to twist the story and you're going to use the excuse, but he did not want us. Okay, no, I did not want, I don't want you, but you have to explain. You gotta give full explanation on why I didn't want you. How far you have gone to make sure that I would not see myself in you. Scum. You see, that's what this video is about. That's why I owe this video. It's unforgettable. J.D. Vance and Hexet about meeting with these people, the way they projected their reality, the way they want to do it. Folks, man, if whatever the fuck you're gonna do, there's nothing more rotten in this world than a Republican Party. There's nothing worse than the perpetrators that you actually represent, that you do your best, and that you find yourself in circumstances like I did. I don't wish any one of you. This is why this video is an educational video. They're not libertarians. They're not friends of the freedom. They are tyrants, man. And it's none of my business when it comes to medications and shit. Alexandra had me with her circle of people. This is what you're gonna do. I mean, she just found herself on the right place at the right time, and she grabbed the opportunity. What I resent her is one thing, that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did not understood precisely who the fuck I was, and she did not understood the difference between American citizen and Slovenian communist. And when I say communist, I say people who identify themselves as communists, leftists like Milan Kučan, people like Robert Golob. She demanded from me to view these people equal. And I think that's not just, because I was already American citizen. I was somebody and something, and the way she saw me basically is completely indifferent from any normal person would see as the ultimate trash dung in this world. She had no respect for me. I have to regretfully say that she was disrespectful. When it comes to torture, when it comes to these things, she demanded from me to see myself in this political currents that were simply merciless. Maybe she had to do so to remain on the picture. She even stated that she would help me out with this case, and then she would even exit the career. She was extremely active. She was extremely involved in this stuff. I am very positive that she is incredibly hardworking, devoted, intellectual. I absolutely don't have any kind of problem with that. I think that she is incredible, and I see myself in her, the stuff that she does. It makes sense. The stuff that she does, she represents her community. She represents other than white community. She's extremely productive when it comes to that, but she was extremely insensitive in respect to certain issues. There were certain issues that, but extremely supported by Mark Zuckerberg, extremely supported by Elon Musk in 2016. That was really funny. Became really worried about this movement, the No Kings movement. He became extremely worried about No Kings movement. That being said, I don't have anything else to say. They all pressured me to become a lefty, billionaires, therefore, because I'm an evil neo-Nazi, because I am a white supremacist, and because I am just a disgrace, obviously, for Republican Party, for the conservatives. And obviously I can say it's not difficult even to see the speech that was given to me in 2009, it was in Bellingham, by the Rachel Steiger. That was my roommate. She said, I'm a disgrace for America. She said, well, you shouldn't be in America. We don't want you here, and so on. It's so easy to see, you know, my God, if that girl at least had some fucking money and stuff like this, she was broke more than anything, job and that kind of stuff. How people just, you know, I'm not going to say fall for it, but the way they spin this coin is by people simply stabbing one another rather than step together and make the sense out of total clusterfuck. Seems that people like the clusterfucks like this because they make money out of it. And that's pretty much, you know, the society really is what goes around comes around, and so on. Do I, you know, my feelings about the Royals, you know, what I think about the Royals, you know, I don't see myself in Royals. I'm just going to put it this way. I don't approve Royals. They went on to burn my life, and in the end, as you see, they even demanded from me to, through the hardship, you know, the stuff, 4 hours sleep and stuff like that kind of stuff, sound in your head 24/7, like this 24/7 for 7 years in a row. That's like really desperate way, right, to convince somebody to see himself as a lefty, man. But after all, one time I already ended even inside of the Belarus, so they probably figure out it must not be so difficult to do it again, right? As it happened in 2000 and what was it, 2017 or 2016. So that being said, that's all I gotta say for this video. Thanks for watching this video. Yeah, I gotta see what is in a 25 minute, what exactly I did at a minute 25. I was gonna sell something, and if this is it, then this is it. That in that case, I don't have anything else I would add to this video. That's a date and time right there. My advice for Americans is to just continue the stuff that you do. I mean, there is my my blog from yesterday. There you have it. That's a blog right here from yesterday. And you're gonna find also the comment right below. So people get killed all the time. Donald Trump was concerned about Hamas killing, you know, civilians in Gaza, when in fact the biggest murderer, killer, slaughterer is none other than Donald Trump. He continues to kill people. Real Mike Johnson claimed that all along he claimed that they're terrorists and this and that, and he's going to prove for me, and I don't know what that he's going to do. Mike Johnson is a neo-Nazi bastard. I don't have a good opinion about him. I don't have a good opinion about any of these people. Honestly, when it comes to Republicans, you just don't know until you go through the stuff I did. I'm going to put both of these links. If you want to know this scum, then read this stuff here. You know, I watched this scum going through my wardrobe. I watched this scum going through my wardrobe in here. And they went on, oh, it's a cotton shirt, it's a cotton shirt. And Angela Merkel went on, oh, this one is a German one, you know, and went inside of the store. That's a kick store here in Novo Mesto, and they learn about the price of the cotton. You know, like it's like, why the fuck is he using a cotton shirts? You know, we would get rid of him faster if he would not have a cotton shirts, motherfucker. You know, the fuck, you take my fucking underwear and a fucking t-shirts. So that I would put obviously plastic shit, polyester on me, to satisfy the fucking scum and finally fucking die as fast as possible. Went to fucking India, to Pakistan to curse. Went to fucking Pakistan to curse the poorest people over there that work in the fucking cotton fields to provide the cheapest shirts possible, because this scum, European scum here, they said not because it would be problem, but because I was always searching for way to save money, you know, always searching for the way to save money. And so there's people that don't do that. It's people that go in the stores and they take whatever the fuck they like, right? Not so they could save the money, because they had a different customers finally, but simply to fuck, you know, to fuck. So the next time, this is how they presented me these issues. As I would go to the store, I would not get the fucking t-shirt anymore, cotton t-shirt for $2. They were making the point, you know, out of American, I don't know, I was buying those t-shirts, Fruit and Loom, you know, it's a Fruit and Loom. No more Fruit and Loom for you, you know, heavy, I think they call it heavy cotton or whatever the hell that is, which is a little bit extra, right? It's like double of the regular. Out of fucking evil, man. Not because they need it. That's a fucking Republican. Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez was extremely worried about her people getting health care, which is a normal thing, a fucking medication, man. A Republican said, oh, and then the medication is going to cost as much as a pack of the candies. Oh, man. Wouldn't you rather to see the fucking medications cost as a pack of candies, and candies as much as medications? Doesn't that make sense to you fuckers? Man, what Donald Trump depicts as a war on drugs is war on American people, because those that are drugged up, they don't rehabilitate them. They don't give them jobs. They don't offer them way out. But the Republican way is to dumb down the person and basically erase and start, as they say, fresh over. You know, how the hell am I going to see myself in this kind of stuff? The Republicans already figure out that we have not much in common because of so much abuse. Mostly it's Republicans that run businesses throughout the United States of America. The Small Business Association, if you would go, probably I would say statistically, that's probably mostly Republicans, I would say. And I don't even know about that. It doesn't even matter. You know, that if you can, every normal person would and should, why the hell not? I mean, then you're paid based on your performance, rather than anything else. Unless you're going to do stuff like I do, you know, you might go past. What year was that I said? 2009? Shit, 2010? 15 years ago, for 15 years already, working at a computer without a single dime, single cent of income. Yeah, you get the principles about this so-called Republican Party and this kind of stuff. It's already a lot of troubles in this world, folks. You don't have to make it harder for yourself. The Republicans are just what I told you tonight about Hexet and about the J.D. Vance. So if you can afford yourself this kind of attitude, this kind of criminality like this kind of view on you as a human being, which I think is completely in line with Gestapo or SS or those KGB Russian Soviet executioners. Well, vote MAGA, vote Republican, and what can I say, man? There is no difference anyway if you're here or you're not. If you have the children or you don't, if you end up with a successful career or you end up inside of the psychiatric hospital, it's all the same shit. Thanks for watching this video. There is a little bit of the also times that I remind you exactly what you have watched. And that's all there is. Check 25 minutes and then I see if I add anything else to this. The light, when it started to blink, was about going to the other side. That's a 25 minute. And it started to blink and I had to just go quickly and going to the other side. Police refer to that stuff as, they will keep asking me if I'm going to get to the other side by saying to me, you have to die to get to the other side. Well, there are two ways to die in this case. There are two ways to die in this case. One way is simply to die. They called and police talked about this stuff. One way was to literally walk the line of death. That's basically play with the cancer, with intestine, lymphoma, sepsis, and some other issues on a same level, on a cancer level, diabetes, on a cancer level issues, cardiovascular issues. That's basically walk the line of death. And all this they summarize into their play with proofs about MKUltra, which they refer to as identifying people, locations, and political currents and so on. They summarize everything into one, but I have to make myself clear, and that's what I wanted to do at the minute 25. For you to go out there, man, and meet people and actually talk about people, about something that was done to you through the subconscious. Man, this is the kind of stuff that I think you have to be born again to see different than placing your head on a, I don't know how they say, where they put guillotine and they cut your head off. That's literally walking with your head in a backpack. Zglavo torbi. I don't know how you say that in English, but that would be like, not in a baggage, but like literally placing your head in a bag and walk around with it. You try to do that shit because if it goes wrong, it's a fast way, it's a highway to hell. You get killed so quickly. They'll take you so rapidly away, especially if they already label you as a paranoid schizophrenic, as a mentally ill person. That it's incredible, man. American democracy is a schizophrenia. Yeah? Well, yes. I mean, if you do the stuff that you guys did with me, that's basically torture somebody like this to be tortured, depressed, disillusioned. I'm not going to say demoralized, but just wasting out time doing whatever the fuck he's doing, maybe even jerking off as I was doing also during MKUltra in front of them, because I didn't give a fuck about them no more. This went into complete oblivion, folks. This stuff was so disgusting that it's impossible, beyond sickening stuff. Police officers, police, FBI, Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, inside of the cells. Disgusting stuff, man. when I consider this stuff, the way they do this stuff, say you don't even treat animals like this. Not even, like, what the fuck would I have to do to the animal for the animal to behave like this? Like I did. I mean, that's an honest estimation about this MK Ultra and the waste of time that went parallel to this. Till 2020. No MK Ultra since 2020. Just the reminders. You do have to die, man. You do have to go to the other side of the world. Not to the world, but to the other side. You do have to go to where there is no return to get the proofs about this fucking shit. And they fucking disregard you, laugh at you, make fun about it in a most disgusting way. Schizophrenia, mental illness, and psychiatry is what United States of America is. That's what United States of America is. Schizophrenia and psychiatry. Schizophrenia is a mental illness. The definition of mental illness is torture. That's the American way. And a psychiatry is a corrective branch, medicine, medical branch, corrective medical branch for basically an answer to a violence that is performed on a victim. That is what makes United States of America. That's like a most honest definition about your No Kings movement. No Kings movement sounds fancy. It sounds great. But having a war criminal inside of the White House, it sure makes a shit impression about your democracy, for one thing. It doesn't make good impression about you as whole, as a nation, as a people. And too many kings to count in America. Too many kings to count. The king that you have inside of the White House, Donald Trump, feared the most that I would become American king. Those are one of his deepest fears that he expressed in my face. That's not to say that Donald Trump is not aiming also at becoming a royal. He was a 0 point nobody and nothing, remember that. And today, this is his second term for American presidency. He was a 0 point nothing when compared to me. And look at it, how far he got with his Americanism, right? So that one of the first things that he did is, he took a special lot of time in respect to abuse, psychological abuse pertaining to my American citizenship. He was extremely disturbed with one. This is really, I would love to say that I support this movement, that I'm on your side, that I see myself in. The thing is, I don't have nothing to do with it. I did explain to you everything about how you view things as, how you see these things as, and, in this whole thing, the way I feel, what bothers you, I feel that I'm the one who bothers you the most. This is what I feel about the No Kings movement. I don't think that you ever liked me. I think that you have problems. You have different kind of problems that it's difficult for you to to view yourself in a mirror for what you really are, for the truth, and that's where the real problem is. I'm a problem. I'm your problem. That's what this is.